Hello, it's Nigel Seeley here with another preview of this weekend's Premier League fixtures. Last weekend was a good weekend. We cashed lots of tickets and I'm very optimistic that this weekend we're going to do exactly the same. And the weekend starts tonight with probably my best bet of the Premier League. Newcastle host Aston Villa, and we know the problems Newcastle are having. They're without their top goal scorer, Callum Wilson. They're without Almiron, and they're without their most influential player, Maxent Maximin. So where are they going to score goals? I just can't see where this side are going to score any goals from. They play an Aston Villa side who, without their best player, Jack Grealish, and since they've missed Grealish, their performances have dropped. Villa have arguably one of the best defences in the Premier League, but offensively they're very weak. Both teams will come in this match on the back of a 0-0 draw, and goals are going to be very hard to find. And my first bet in the Premier League is this evening, and it's my strongest play, and it's under 2.5 goals in Newcastle against Aston Villa. Moving on to Saturday. First game up is Leeds against Chelsea. Chelsea have been a revelation under manager Thomas Tuchel. They do not concede goals. 11 matches in charge and 9 clean sheets, 9 shutouts. And they play a Leeds side that haven't been playing very well recently. They started the campaign on fire, but in the last few weeks, they're not playing so good. Patrick Bamford looks like their only goal threat for Leeds, and he looks like he's running on empty. I think this will be a low-scoring game. I would be tempted to back the Chelsea price, but they have a huge Champions League game on Tuesday night against Atletico Madrid. And I think with one eye on that, it's a bit of a dodgy play. So for that reason, under 2.5 goals is the way to go. Leeds' recent games have been unders. Chelsea's games have been unders under Tuchel. They do not concede. And Chelsea leads under 2.5 goals. Another game where I think goals are definitely going to be hard to find is Crystal Palace against West Brom. No side recently on the statistics have been more poor than Crystal Palace. They're the worst performing side in the last 15 games. Their goals expected for column is very, very low. No game in the last 15 have they ever had an expected goals ratio of more than 1. West Brom, managed by Sam Allardyce, was a former manager at Crystal Palace, and he will be confident that his side can get something from this game. The trouble is they don't score enough goals either. Under 2.5 goals is an obvious play, but the price is very low. With a bit more juice in the price, I'm going for both teams to score as a no. It's a lot better than under 2.5 goals, and I think 1 goal either way will win this game. Everton against Burnley. This one is a tricky game. On paper, you would look at Everton and think they can win this game, but they've lost at home against Sheffield United, and they've lost at home against Crystal Palace. Their performances at home this season have dropped significantly in the last few weeks, and although they have Champions League places, I don't think they're a great side. They're playing a Burnley side who are always overachieve and always a side that you want to get with against some bigger teams, but usually at home. I think the carrot of even money for Everton may tempt a few, but again, I think goals are hard to come by. And it's looking like an obvious play, but under 2.5 goals in Everton-Burnley. So that's 4 games in the Premier League so far, and every single one I'm going for under 2.5 goals. One game where I don't expect under 2.5 goals to cash is Fulham against Manchester City. I think this will be a good game. Fulham have been a revelation in recent weeks and given themselves a realistic chance of staying in the Premier League with the 1-0 win at Liverpool. Manchester City have just been doing their stuff and are cruising to another Premier League title. Man City are -$3 to win this match. I expect them to do that. But in recent weeks, they've been conceding goals. They conceded 2 against Southampton, and they conceded in 4 of their last 4 matches in the Premier League. I think Fulham will score. I think Manchester City will score. I think this will be a great game to watch. And I'm going to go for both teams to score as a yes in a decent match down by the River Thames at Craven Cottage. Moving on to Sunday, Southampton host Brighton, and Brighton are a side that every bettor across the world is scratching their head about. They are bet on every single game to win, and they get a goal XG and more chances, but they just cannot convert their chances. They have a great chance to convert their chances against the Southampton side, who have down tools for the season. Their season is all about next week and the FA Cup, and I think that's where Southampton's priorities will lie. I expect their manager, Ralph Hasenhuttl, to make some changes into this game, and I think Brighton here will win the match. You can get a decent price on Brighton to win. They're plus money, around about plus 162. I think they'll win that, and I think maybe a draw no bet option for Brighton. I think they'll finally click and they'll score goals against the Southampton side who have one eye on the cup. Leicester against Sheffield United. Leicester need the points for Champions League. Sheffield United need the points for Premier League survival. Sheffield United know really, though, that their season is over. It's all about next year and rebuilding and trying to get out of the Championship. Relegation looks a certainty. I'm expecting Leicester to win this and win this well. If you're looking for a banker this weekend, the -2 on Leicester is probably the bet for you. But for me, I'm not touching the game. But if you want to bet Leicester and put them in a parlay, -2 for Leicester could be the bet. Arguably, the biggest game is on Sunday afternoon. It's a North London derby, Arsenal against Tottenham. Both sides come into this match after huge Europa League wins. But the fact that Arsenal had to travel from Greece rather than Tottenham being at home is a big, big plus for Tottenham. I'm not quite sure which way this goes. I'm leaning towards Tottenham, but the one thing I do fancy is goals. I think both teams will score. I think both teams are playing with a lot more attacking flair in recent weeks. And especially for Arsenal, they may take the shackles off, knowing that realistically, in the Premier League, they're not going to get a Champions League spot and they're not going to make Europa League football. For Tottenham, Gareth Bale in the team means they have a massive offensive threat. And I feel both teams to score is the way to go. A favourite that I feel is vulnerable is on the late game on Sunday. I think Manchester United are vulnerable at home to West Ham. Manchester United narrowly got a draw against Juventus, a heartbreaking 93rd minute equaliser for AC Milan, not Juventus, in the Europa League. And I feel that their match in Milan on Thursday is a priority for them. West Ham have been a revelation this season, going about their business under former Manchester United manager David Moyes. And I feel they're very underrated for this side. I give them a chance of getting something at Old Trafford. Old Trafford isn't the fortress that you believe. They've already been beaten by Sheffield United. They lost to Crystal Palace earlier in the season as well. And I think West Ham could get something from this game. I'm not going to make a case for West Ham to win the match at almost $4. But I do think +0.5, where you can get the draw on your side at +110, represents good value on West Ham. Monday night, and I really have no idea what to make of this game. Wolves host Liverpool. Wolves have been completely inconsistent this season. Liverpool are desperate for some form in the Premier League. They come back last week in midweek against Leipzig, winning 2-0, and their Champions League form is fantastic. But in the Premier League, they just can't score. They're the lowest scorers in England in 2021. That includes all 4 major leagues over here. Under 2.5 goals is a concern, is a bet for me. But I think that Wolves, as I said last week, draw more games than any other side in the Premier League at half-time. They played in the last game against Aston Villa and drew 0-0, a game that never, ever looked like being anything other than a 0-0 draw. And I feel that the draw at half-time in Wolves-Liverpool could be a wager here. I also believe that Jota, for Liverpool midfielder, who's coming back to some form, scoring goals before he got injured, will gradually get in his way, will start in this game. And I feel that he may score against his former club. So that's the recap of the Premier League this weekend. I'm just going to give you the best bets. I think tonight we start with an under 2.5 goals in the game between Newcastle and Aston Villa. That's my best bet in the Premier League. On Saturday, both teams to score no. Crystal Palace v West Brom would be my best play. And on Sunday, I'm going to go for West Ham +0.5. Good luck with your wagers. Keep cashing those tickets. And if you want to follow me, you can do on Twitter @Seeley_Nigel, or go to my website, premiersportsplays.com. Good luck.